At this point, I want to introduce you to the Android Developers Portal. Like I said before in a previous video, this is an awesome place with tons and tons of useful tips, tools, tutorials that you may want to look at. Actually, I'm going to ask you to look at it quite a bit during the course. So this will be the first time that I actually show you something that is relevant to what we just did in the previous video, which was downloading the ADT plugin. So if you want to read about what we just saw on the video, you can go and read about it here. There's even a tutorial about installing the Eclipse plugin, which is pretty much what I did for you before, in case you want to have a reference. If you have problems, issues that you want to read about, you can always ask me, but there's also a troubleshooting section that you can look at. And this is, like I said, an extremely useful resource for you to follow. So now that we have heard about it, let's go back to Eclipse and let's start working on Android. So the first thing we're going to do is create our first Android project. And for that, what we need to do is create a brand new project within Eclipse. And this project is going to be an Android project. In case you're new to IDEs, you may know that IDEs allow us to customize our project to our needs. So we have a whole variety of projects that we can open. So if we open a new Java project, that's a standalone project. Like if we were taking the Java 1 course and we're just learning Java for the first time, which is not what we want to do today. And there's also different kinds of projects that we can open. There's a general project that may be anything from a database SQL development project to a plugin development project to an enterprise Java to a C++ project. Really, this is an empty shell template for you to work with. There's C and C++, CVS, you name it. Today we want to work with Android, so this is where we want to go. So we opened the project and we want to select a wizard, which is an Android application project. The next thing we do is hit next, and we need to give it a name. So let's go for Droid 1. The name is up to you, really. However, look at the package. The package is important. We don't want to work without a package because we would fall into what we call the default package in Java, which is a practice that is not recommended to follow anymore. So we may want to name a package. If you are unsure as to what a package is, come back to me and I can point you to some tutorials. At this point, I'm going to assume that you know what a package is. So let's just do a package of our own. CA Conestoga C Droid 1. We're going to build our project based on API 16, which is the build, and the minimum requirement will be whatever we choose here. So I'm going to bring it up to 16 as well. So it's going to be tied to the latest release of Android. Once we have all this, hit next, and these are all sections, customizable parts of the program that we are going to cover later on. So for now, let's just go with the defaults. It's going to run anyway. Just keep going. We'll come back to this, no worries. And the first time you run this, it may need to install more dependencies. So if you come across these, just install them. It's not going to take too long. This looks very, very similar to what we did before. So just give it a couple seconds here and it'll let you go on to finish. It's very likely that the next time you create a project, this won't show up anymore because you already have everything you need. And once it's preparing the project for you, and what you need to do now is look after all the sections in the project. So every Java project, Android or others, have the same principle of storing files in folders. The names of the folders tend to be standard, and they are used to keep different types of files in place. So in our case, we are going to learn in the next 3 or 4 units what all these sections are. So for now, let's just go for the defaults. I'm not gonna spend more time talking about them. We'll come back to them. All we want to do right now is to run the project. So click on Android 1, do a right mouse click, and then go to Run As, and then hit Android Application. Watch out for the detail. You don't want to click on Android JUnit or Java Applet or anything else. Make sure you click on Android Application. And once again, you need to be patient because this may take a while. You want to look at the bottom right section of the screen where the progress bars are located, and just as we saw before when we ran the emulator from within Windows, it's going to take a little while to start, so let's wait. So here we go. All we need to do now is open the box, which is done by clicking on the lock. And once you do, you can start navigating through the UI. You can go back to Home, you can go to the menu, or you can start looking for your apps. If you find that the emulator is unresponsive for a little while, just keep your patience, and eventually you'll see this popping onto your screen. So that's your first Android application right now. You did nothing but code. Everything was set up for you through the wizard, but it's your first app. It's running on the emulator. So now it's your job to get to this point where you can actually see your app up and running. If you want to, you can go back to Home and look for it all over again. It should be somewhere in the UI, namely here, Main Activity. So give it a try and we'll see how it goes from here. The next set of videos are going to take you into the actual tour on how the app is built, how it's coded, its sections, resources, and Java sources. So make sure you understand all this procedure we have followed through the last 6 videos, and if you can do this, I guarantee you're on your way to becoming a great mobile programmer. So good luck and stay in touch. Thanks for watching.